Good morning. Good morning. I'm having a bad hair day. Have you ever had one of those? I got up this morning, I was cold, and my hair looked awful. I didn't want to get in the shower, so I just put a hat on and got this teeny weeny little ponytail sticking out the back of it. And that's fine. That is fine. Today, y'all, I've got some people gave me some apples, and different people gave me apples, and so I thought that for Thanksgiving, this would be a nice thing to have for Thanksgiving. So today I'm going to practice with y'all, and we're going to make a good old Southern American. You know, we think of America as being hot dogs and apple pies. Well, we're going to make an apple pie. We're going to make our own crust, and it's a crust that you haven't seen me make before. I don't think you've seen me make it. So I'm going to go through it. It's real easy. It's real easy. It's not the pawpaw pie crust. It's a different one that I use sometimes. So what I've got in my bowl is I've got 2 1/4 cups of all-purpose flour. Now, when you're making a pie crust, you don't want it to rise up like a biscuit. So you want to use, make sure that it says on there, all-purpose, because that is so important. Because it's going to keep it flat and crispy, and it won't rise up, okay? And I use white lily. So that's what I've got in this bowl right here. 2 1/4 cups of white lily flour. And right here, I've got a heaping teaspoon of sugar that I am going to spread here and there. And yes, I'm washing clothes. Isn't that the story of my life? And I have 2 sticks of salted butter, because this doesn't have any salt in it, and I don't want to use the unsalted added. I'm just going to use this. 2 sticks of salted butter at room temperature. It's not cold butter. Now, I know a lot of y'all grade yours in there, but I don't have time. I just really don't, and I like this way. I'm going to do 2 sticks of this in there. I got a pretty pie plate today. I'm going to show y'all that I'm going to use. It's really pretty. It surely is. I kind of love it. I'll show it to you. It's a cast iron. Look. See there? It's a cast iron pie plate, and I like these little handles I can do. All right, so here we go. I'm going to take before I put my cold water in here, let me go ahead and grease our little pie plate. I'm going to get about this much grease. You don't need much, but you do need to grease it just a little bit. Last night, I went to a pep rally at the Andalusia High School, because we're going to get to go to the football playoffs. So Banks cheered, and the good thing at the pep rally, it was so much fun. I'll try to send y'all the video of it. They asked the mothers to come out there and cheer with their daughter cheerleader. Well, Hannah, I think she was embarrassed to go. And I saw Banks down there on the field going, like, come on. So she got up and went on down there and got with her. And the band just played. And it was really good. All right, so now we're going to have some cold water. So ice water, actually. So I fixed me some ice water here. It's got ice in it, and it's real cold. And I think it's 5 tablespoons. Let me check over here to make sure. Yep. More or less. I'm going to tell y'all what that means in a minute. All right. There's 1 tablespoon. 2 tablespoons. My ice got in that one. 3 and 4. And here's the thing, even though I'm making, and then you're just going to squish it around. Even though I'm making, that's why you want it room temperature, so you can get in there and mash it. I'm making apple pies But you can make whatever kind of pie you want and use this pie crust. And I'm going to cook mine in the oven. In other words, my pie crust is not going to be already cooked, okay? It's not going to be already cooked. And so yours, if you wanted to make a lemon icebox pie for Thanksgiving, which is one of my favorites, I love it, you might go ahead and make this pie crust and cook it in the oven and have it ready, because you know you don't cook lemon icebox pie filling. It's actually kind of raw. And yes, I know you can use, if you want to use your little dough fork thing and do it around, you can. But I'm just going to sit here and do this and look out my window at this gorgeous day we're having. It's so pretty and so fall out there. It's just gorgeous. Just kind of crump your butter up a little bit. Put it in there. Like that. I was so excited though to get back home from that trip. You know, it's wonderful to go on a trip, to see people and to meet new people and everything, but there isn't anything like home to me. And when I came home the other day and it was dark and I drove up in the driveway, and it was raining and all like that, I was still glad to be home and in my own bed. Don't you like your own bed? And your own pillow for sure. And when you're traveling on a plane and doing all this stuff, you can't always have your own pillow. All right, so that was 5 tablespoons of cold water. And you know, I said we're going to have to kind of see. I'm going to put one more in there. 1 more tablespoon. One more of cold ice water. I've been doing paperwork this morning. I didn't want to, but that's what I had to do. And I did my paperwork. Got it done. Okay. I think it's about ready. I'm going to pour it out now on my little sheet I've got right here. It's tearing up. See there? I don't know what happened to it. I got little splits around the edge. It's probably because I'm using it every day. That's probably the reason. All right, let's get it and put it out on our thing right here and work it around. I think it's gonna be good, y'all. My mother used to cook apple pies, and then she went through a stage of buying the apple pies already made, and then she went back to her apple pies and the spices that she liked in hers. But we liked it either way. And I like to eat it fresh out of the oven with, I like it with ice cream. Do y'all like it with ice cream? Okay. Now it's kneading time. And it's going every which way. I'm going to save part of it to put some things on the top of my pie. See how it's forming into a hard dough? And we can put more flour on it if we need to. If it's too greasy or sticking to your hand too much or whatever. I hope y'all can see this. I assume you can. I was looking in somebody's phone the other day. They told me to look in there and see something. I said, I can't even see it. You got it so dark. You know, there's a light. If you on my phone, if I pull down and it's showing low light, well, push that thing up and it'll be much brighter for you, and you can see on your phone a lot better. All right, I'm going to take 3/4 of it right here. Put the other 1/4 over there. And I'm going to take this much. And I am going to get my dough going here. It's okay if you work pie dough a while. It's all right. It's not like biscuits. You could have it, you could knead it and do. We got that done. I remember my mama making pie dough a lot. Then she got lazy in her old age, and she'd a lot of times buy one already done. Either way, y'all got apples. You people in Michigan, aren't y'all known for apples and stuff? I used to have some followers that came every year and stayed with me because the husband, he would go down to, we've got a national forest close to Andalusia. It's called the Conecuh National Forest. And so he bought a permit or whatever, and he'd go down there and, let me get me some flour. He would go down there and hunt. And she had she brought her sewing machine with her. She loved to sew. She has grandchildren. So she would come and bring her sewing machine, and she would sew while she was here with me. And make the children little doll clothes and all that kind of stuff. And make them clothes too. I think she had a set of twins. I'm not positive now. I'm trying to think if she had a set of twins. I think she did. Y'all have your rolling pin? If you don't, you better get one. Now see how I'm just kind of doing like this every now and then? Whoop. So it won't stick to my rolling pin. That's all you gotta do. Like that. I'm trying to make it kind of sort of round to go in this plate over here. I want it kind of thin in the middle, like that. Okay. And I hope it's not sticking. Oh no. I better do this over because it's sticking to my surface. And y'all, if it sticks to your surface, what are you supposed to do? Pull that thing all the way back up and put you some flour down and re-roll it out. You check it now. It's not sticking in every place, but I don't want it messed up. So here's what I'm gonna do. Did you know I could hear you? Did you know I could hear you saying, Miss Brenda, you need to do this, that, or the other? I can hear you. You're coming in loud and clear this morning. From Michigan and New York and Colorado. I got a Colorado hat this week. I hated it and put it on this morning. They said, you need something from Colorado. So they sent me a hat. A baseball hat. It says Colorado. It's turquoise blue. It's real pretty. I tried it on, took the tag off, but this morning when I was getting dressed, I just grabbed this one. I should have grabbed the other one. All right, so we have decided that this is too sticky, didn't we? We decided it's too sticky. So what do you do when it's too sticky? Put you some flour on your surface, like that. Flour your ball of dough, like that. Y'all thought it wasn't going to turn into a ball of dough, didn't you? You thought it wasn't going to turn into one. I fooled you. It's a great ball of dough. Here, fill of it. Pinch it. Pinch it. Some of y'all out there, I've been meeting people and they'll say, I don't cook. I don't cook. Well, what do you eat? I don't know. What do you eat? Anyway, when I was at my trip at Williamsburg, we had an apple pie. But theirs was a little bit sweet for me. It was just too sweet for me. Let me rub this off and I'm going to put some flour on it. We're going to try this baby again. There we go. Now let's try. Let's try again and see if it's going to stick to the surface. I bet it'll be a lot better this time. But that's how you always do, y'all. Check a little bit. And if it's sticking to that surface, just pull it right back up into your ball and rework it a little bit. Add a little flour. And it ought to work really good then. All right, let's check it. Here we go. There we go. See, it's doing great. If it's too sticky, add flour. All right, I think that looks good. I'm kind of rolling hard too, so that. All right, let's dump it in this pie thing right here. If you don't have one of these, you're just going to have to do it with your hand, but I promise you, you can do it. You can do it. All right, let's pull it down a little bit so you can see just a little bit better. All right, there's our pie crust. And I want to make sure there's no air bubbles in it, so I'm going to start at the center, hold that up a little bit, and push it down. And that's letting the air out while I'm pushing down. Do you see what I'm doing? Push down and hold up the edging so that the air can get out of it. You don't want any air bubbles in there. Okay, that looks really good. Press it down, and we've got our pie crust greased. Now I'm going to take my knife and cut off this extra right here. There's our handle. I'll have to cut it off a little differently, won't I? I'm going to save this dough now to add with the other part that I made. So you could, if you don't have one on top on yours, you could make this dough and you're going to have 2 pie crusts instead of 1. You're going to have 2. And I use real butter in mine now. All right, so there's our pie crust. And you can take your finger and push it in a little bit right here and then press with the other 2 fingers. Push in and press. Push in and press. With the thumb and that finger. So you'll use this finger on this hand and these 2 on that one. Oh, Lordy. Don't we have a good time together? I'm so glad that y'all come in with me in the mornings when I'm cooking or doing whatever I happen to be doing. I went outside last night to make sure there weren't any deer out there eating my greens. They're growing really super good. And I'm excited about that. Oh, by the way, I'm going to cook this on 350 degrees until my crust is real brown and I'm sure that the apples are hot and tender inside. And it'll be ready to eat. Might have to put a little flour on that finger. He's wanting to stick to the thing. See how I'm doing it? Just pressing it like that with this side. And that's going to make you a little design around the side. If your pie plate's kind of plain, you can dress it up yourself. All right. That looks good. I think it looks all right. So there's our pie plate. Now, so the next thing I'm going to do, let me move this out of the way, is I've got a bowl of apples that someone gave me, and I don't know how many it's going to take. I just want to cut them and kind of pile them up in there, and then I'll show you what I'm going to do. I want to compare, let y'all see. Some apples are big and some are little. So I'm just going to use all the little ones because I feel like they are the same kind of an apple. And this was probably different. So I'm just going to take my knife and peel these. I'll show you one, and then I'm going to turn it off so it won't be so long. I'm just going to peel the apple real quickly like this. And I'm going to just absolutely cut them really thin and put them in that pie plate. Let me show you how I'm going to do it. When I turn off this video, I'm going to sharpen this knife is one thing I'm going to do. All right, here we go. That's it. All right, so I'm going to take the apples and I'm going to cut little thin slivers off just like this. Like that. All the way around it. Just do like this and cut little thin slivers. That way they'll be tender, and all your spices we're going to put on it this morning will be in there. And take your time to doing it. Don't get in a mad rush or anything like that. Just enjoy doing it. Enjoy being in the kitchen and look out the window as you're cooking it and think about your family and how they're going to enjoy this good old apple pie. Fresh out of the oven and making your house smell so good. That'll be a good thing. I'm going to keep cutting them. I'll tell you how many apples I'm going to do, but that's one. See how skinny I cut them? Just little skinny things. Okay. I'll be back in just a minute. Okay, y'all, I'm on my last apple. And then I'm going to tell you how many I'm putting in it. And I've changed my knives. I changed to this little paring knife, and I sharpened it. And it's cutting it super thin and really good. When I was a girl, and I was living in Carrollton, Alabama, at Spring Hill Community, my Aunt Hattie B had an apple tree. It was an old apple tree, and the apples on it were really big, and they were green. So I don't know if it was a Granny Smith or what the apples were. But they were so good. There's a peeling I left on there. And I used to love to go pick me one off of that tree. And y'all, I promise you, they were that big around. They were huge. They were as big as a grapefruit. Okay, let me count my cores. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I've got 8 of these little apples in here. So if you had a big apple, like a Granny Smith, because a lot of times people like to cook with Granny Smiths, I love them too. But this is what I had, and I'm using what I had because I don't want these to go bad. But anyway, we would sit on Aunt Hattie B's porch, and we would get us an apple, and we would sprinkle salt all over it. I mean, lots of salt. And we would eat that apple, and why we didn't have a stomachache that afternoon, I will never know. But we would eat that whole thing. And we enjoyed eating it like this, and I've seen my daddy do it. He'd get his pocket knife, and he'd get an apple like this, and it'd be clean, washed off. He'd just take his knife and cut off a wedge like this. He'd just cut it off like that. And he actually, what he did, when he cut, let's see, when he cut it off, he would hold it like that. And he'd eat it with a knife still in his hand. That's how he would do it. Whoop! That's good. Okay, let's put our stuff on it. Let me get it out. Okay, let's put some goodie on it. I am not going to put brown sugar on my apple pie. I like regular sugar, and this is 1/4 of a cup. And I'm going to fill it up with sugar and put over the top of it. And just see what it's going to do, okay? Well, first of all, I'm going to do this to a little bit of it. I'm going to put a tablespoon of a little bit of flour in it, because we're going to need it for a little thickening in there. If we don't, the juice of the apple will come out. So I think 1/4 cup of flour will probably be, 1 tablespoon of flour will probably be enough. We don't want it too juicy. We want it to have a little bit of firmness to it. If you feel like yours is real juicy, you may want to add a little bit more. That'll mix in with the butter. You want me to add a little more? You want to add 1 more tablespoon? Let's do. Let me add a little tablespoon more. Okay, here's a little tablespoon right here. A little tablespoon. That'll go down in there when we get our butter on top. All right, I'm going to get 1/4 cup of sugar to sprinkle over it. If we feel like it looks skinny and skimpy, we'll put a little bit more. So let me get that. All right, here's 1/4 cup, but I feel like that's going to be enough. That one that I ate in Williamsburg was a little sweet to me, and I just don't want much on it. I like to taste the apple. All right, let's just barely sprinkle it over the top. I can tell you this is going to be a plenty. You don't need more than this, that's for sure. Put some in the middle. Glory, glory. I don't even know if we need this much. I got that much left. I got about a tablespoon left. Okay, that's enough. I'm not even going to put that last teaspoon in there. I can tell that is enough. And I also don't put much cinnamon because I want to taste the apples. So I'm gonna just put a pinch. That looks like about 1/8 of a teaspoon or something like that. I just want a hint of this. I don't want it much at all. Just enough to make the kitchen smell good. I don't like a lot, but y'all can put as much as you want on yours. Now I'm going to take some pats of butter. And I'm going to put that around over the top, which will melt down with the sugar and that flour that we put on it and the cinnamon. So I'm going to take my knife and cut off little slivers like that of butter, and I'm going to just put it around all over it. Just a little skinny. See how skinny that is? Just little skinnies all over it. We're going to put this in the oven. I got the oven preheating. I don't know if it's there yet. It is. To 350 degrees. And I always have to tell you how long it cooks, because I really won't, I don't know on my stove. I just go by the looks and the smell. I use what God gave me, and that's the sense of seeing, the sense of tasting, and the sense of smelling. Now, you need to be using yours. You know, if you don't use it, you lose it. Have y'all ever heard that little saying before? If you don't use it, you lose it. Am I missing a spot that might need a little liquid, y'all? Let's put a little bit right there. You could melt it, but you don't want to do that. Because if you melt it, it goes straight to the bottom. And we want it to be cooking while it's doing this. So we're not going to do it. So I probably used maybe 3 or 4 tablespoons of butter over it because they're real thin. We got our cinnamon on it, and I'm fixing to roll out this other dough and put on top. We're going to cook it. And yes, I know this video's long. And I don't know what to tell you. I don't know what to tell you. I'm going to roll it out. This is our that other part of that dough. Now, if you don't want to, if you're doing a pie that you don't need a top on it, we'll save this one and make another pie. This will make 2 pies, either a crust and a top or 2 crust. Isn't that nice? Isn't that nice? Oh, glory. All right, so we've got it started here. We'll put it down in that flour and get it coated real good like that. And let me roll it out, then I'll show you. Let me roll the thing out. I better turn you back on. You know why? Because I had somebody to say one time, it doesn't matter how long you have your videos, just do them as long as you want to. We'll be watching. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to let you just watch, and if it's too long, I'm sorry. Okay, anytime that this seems like it's sticking, put you some flour on it and on your, rub it around on there. You also want this real thin too. I'm gonna look up under it and see if it's sticking. No, not really. This might need a little bit more under it because it's wanting to tear up a little bit. Let me fix it. I got more clothes to wash today. You know, we went on the trip, so now you got to wash all the clothes that you took, that you wore while you were on the trip. Okay. All right, I think that's fairly well. Let's put it on there. Now, if you don't have one of these little pad things, and I don't know where to get them, and I don't know anything about them. This was given to me, so I don't have a clue because mine's tearing up. But I've used it a lot. Just do it over your hand like that. And pray it doesn't come apart like mine is. It's sticking right there just a little bit, but I'm gonna have to redo it. I gotta re-roll it, y'all. It's stuck to my surface. And put some more flour on it. Hey, when you do things in the kitchen, it doesn't always turn out just like you want it to, baby. But it's gonna be okay. It's going to be okay. Don't get discouraged. Sometimes life doesn't turn out like we planned it either. But we got to keep on trucking. We got to keep on going. I bet it doesn't stick this time. As they used to say, pick yourself up and start all over. Start it again. I probably should have sat this thing in the other top part of it in the refrigerator while I was doing all my apple cutting. And that would have made it cold and made it not so sticky. But I didn't think about it at the time. I was too busy washing those clothes out there. And that's what I did. Too busy washing the clothes. So anyway, I just added some more flour to it so it can go over this pie. Like that. And I've already fluted the edge. I didn't even think about that. I made the edges pretty, and now I'm stuck back here at this. I'm going to just stick it to that other one. And that's too long. Where's my knife? Here it is. Anyway, Aunt Hattie B had some mighty nice apples. Glory, they were good. We can't grow apples in Alabama, or not down here where I live. I think there's one apple that might grow here. I've never tried it. It's called the Anna apple, and they say that it will grow in the south down here. But our weather's so hot. I can grow pears. I can grow scuppernons. I can grow blackberries and strawberries and that kind of thing. Aunt Hattie B had a big side porch. That's where we used to sit. She had a, and y'all may do this in the north, I don't know. She had a kitchen window that opened like a door, and it opened to the inside like this. It was a big window. It was 2 windows wide. So she'd open it up, and outside that kitchen window, it had a floor with a screened wire around all of it where no bugs could get in. And that was her outdoor refrigerator in the wintertime. She could put her milk out there and her butter and all that stuff. And then she just opened her window and get it because it was cold. It was in North Alabama. And so it was cold out there. And she actually used that for her refrigerator. And you know, isn't it something what a child remembers? They remember it. Now, y'all, I remember that. It was really something. If y'all are doing your pie, don't flute the bottom till you get the top on it and then do it. I wasn't even thinking. I don't know what I was thinking. As that song says, what were you thinking? All right. Have we got this thing kind of sort of done over here? All right, now we're going to put some little decoration on the top. I saved out this is a bunch of little dough right here. Y'all might have a little leaf cutter or something, or you could do berries on the top or whatever you want to do. If you get your little piece out like this and roll it up in a little ball and maybe let the kids do this part. They would love it. Make you a little leaf. Make a little leaf right there. Maybe a little line through it. Make it look like a little leaf. Little point on that end. You may have a leaf cutter, but I think the children would enjoy just making it like that, and we'll put it right here on the top, like that, kind of. You're really supposed to put a little water under it so it sticks. Let me get a little thing of water. Well, here's some. We'll just use this, what we had a while ago. Let's wet this side of it and put it on there, and that way it'll stick better. All right, let's make us another leaf. That was mighty thick, isn't it? I need to smash it out a little flatter. What a gorgeous, gorgeous day, y'all. Okay, there's another little leaf. Put him right here. I'm going to take this one up. He's too fat. He's too fat. I'm going to put some butter on it anyway, so it'll probably do fine. You know. Here's a little leaf. Put him on there. We're going to make 3 little leaves. The leaves outside on my hickory tree are golden, and they're blowing in the wind right now, and some are coming off, and my yard has leaves all over it, and I don't care. They're gorgeous, and I love them, and I'm thankful that I live at a place that can have leaves and that I can crunch through the leaves. We'll go for a walk one day, and I'll let you see how pretty they are. They're really beautiful. I can't do it today. All right, there's the other one. And I like where they are, so we're gonna stick them on. And here's what I do now. I melted me 1 tablespoon of butter, and I got my little thing out that I spread my butter around with. Here it is right behind me. And so I'm gonna put butter all over mine. A lot of people put a little egg wash. I prefer the butter. But you do like you want to. Remember, it's your pie. It's your house. And it's your kitchen. And you can do it however you want to, girl. But I only did 1 tablespoon of butter, and it's plenty. Plenty, plenty, plenty. Let's do our little leaves. I don't know whether to put a steam hole in this thing or not. Sometimes I do. I might put just a few to let any steam out that happens to be in there. We'll take that little point of that knife right there. And let's make our steam holes kind of close to our little leaves. Okay. We need a little line in our leaf, don't we? Put a little decoration in it. Okay, what I do now is I put sugar on top. And I'll show you how I do that. It's really easy to do, y'all. It's just that, you need to take your time and enjoy it. And don't be in such a rush. And I'm going to sprinkle a little sugar on the top. That makes it crunchy, and it makes it good, too. I like it. The butter's going to help it stick to it. You don't want much, just a light coating. Okay, I'm going to pop it in the oven on 350 degrees. And I have no idea how long I'm going to watch it. Okay. Let me show you this before I turn you off. Let me show you this that I made. I bought some grapefruit while I was in Florida, when I was going through Florida the other day to go to that ladies' conference. And when I got home, they didn't look that good. They looked like they were kind of on their way out. But anyway, I decided to dry them. I dried some oranges one time for my Christmas tree, and it looked gorgeous. What you do is just take your serrated knife and cut that orange real, real, real thin with the center with the edges going out like that. That's how you cut it. And then I put these on this thing right here. I just put them on this, and I put a cookie sheet up under it, and I turned it on you need to turn it on about 300 and let it slowly dry out. And so the sides of this can you hear it? Are hard. The inside still is a little soft, but I think it will get harder as time goes on. And I put that little bow on it, and you can hang, and that's just a paper clip. Maybe you'll have something prettier than mine. And hang that on your Christmas tree. Let me put it up next to my apron so y'all can see. Isn't it pretty? All right, y'all, it is 12:10. Well, really 12:08. And so what we'll do is we'll see how long that it takes our pie to cook. But anyway, y'all make you some of these. It was fun. You can also dry anything. You can dry lemons, you can dry grapefruit, any of your citrus, your oranges. That'd be cute. Okay, I'll be back when the pie's done. Okay, y'all, I peeked in the oven, and it looks ready to me. And it has been 1 hour and 9 minutes that I cooked the pie. 1 hour and 9 minutes. And y'all, everybody's going to have to look at their own pie. I can't give you exact time. This is how long I cooked mine. And here it is. Let me turn my oven off. All right, so here it is. Here is our pie. Let me get you up close where you can see it, and I'll pick it up. Give me a minute. Right there it is. It looks crunchy. It looks good. It is bumpy on the top. That's because there are apples under it. And this is it. Now, it did take us a kind of long time. But, heck, what were you going to do anyway? Now, if you're a working mama, this might be a little problem. But what you could do to save some time is this. Make your dough up, your pie dough, the day before. Flatten it out into a disc shape. Put some plastic over it and put it in the refrigerator. Do it in two things. One for the top, one for the bottom. Or, if you're going to make two pies, you're still going to do it in two things. So make your pie dough up and put it in the refrigerator. And heck, you may can put it in the freezer and have pie dough ready at all times. But I think it looks pretty, and I want to show you this. I had a little bit of the dough left over. Remember I told you I was making the leaves and I had this little bit left over? Well, I decided I was going to flatten it out on this little pan and put some butter and sugar on top of it. It is so good. I cooked it in there while the pie was cooking. It tastes like a cookie with that sugar on it. It's delicious. But it's real fragile. See there? You just barely touch it and it falls apart. Goes to say what I always say. Don't waste anything. If you have something left over, cook it. See what you might invent something. Y'all have a good day. I'm not going to cut it right now because it's hot and I want it to cool. If you're lucky, I'll come back on here in a minute and cut it.